right, where are we starting?
Dave, what did you say to the guys this morning, if anything? Last night about going forward and
Yeah, we just, I mean, we talked about, where we're at right now. We went through some of the things from last night and, some of the specifics from early in the game, and just talked a little bit more on a broader scale as well, a little bit more big picture.
Guys have said that before, that they're battling for everybody in the room and the guy that's sitting next to them. When your leaders meet, at what point do you feel the message begin to resonate?
So, say that again? Yeah.
When your leaders meet, at what point do you begin to feel the message begin to resonate?
With our leadership group, I feel like our leadership group has been pretty accurate and spot on throughout the year. From day one, and we've had ups and downs. That doesn't mean everything has gone the way that we hope that it would go. But our leadership group is they're a straight up honest group. Speak to things as they are. There's not a whole lot of fluff. So I believe that has resonated.
Dave, last night you said that it wasn't a goaltender's game. You weren't going to point fingers at Grooby. I'm wondering how you feel about his overall body of work over the first 14 games of the season that your team's played, and whether you think he's as comfortable as he's looked in the past.
Grooby was in a pretty good groove, especially early on. And we weren't scoring a whole lot of goals for him, but we were able to get some results, and he was a huge part of that. In a game like last night. We haven't had a lot of games where we've come back or, where we've come out and have been, I've had a lot of holes. But last night was one of them. And, so there's kind of two sides of things, last night for Grooby. I mean, just speaking directly to it, he got us through the first period. He gave us a chance to go into the second period and regroup our game and try to get back into it. In terms of his game last night, I'm sure he'd tell you he's probably disappointed with the fourth one. But to that point, he was a big part of giving us a chance to even dig ourselves out of the hole.
When you look at your goaltenders, is that just the bottom line giving you the chance to win?
Well, at the end of the day, that's their part. I guess that's one way to put it, giving us a chance to win. Really, that's all of our jobs is to win, right? So to be a part of that, to be a part of building wins. So you do that along the way. At every position, you have your part to do. When you do your part well, you infuse confidence through the room, through the bench, through the rest of your teammates as well, and that's at every position.
He's talked about being on the same page with his defensemen. Where do you think that relationship is at this point right now? He said he would feel most comfortable, but he's in that group with them. That's a big part of it.
Yeah, I believe we've been together long enough that comfort level is there.
And in terms of style of play and looking at Minnesota, should that matter at all? Like they don't like to get up and down the ice like maybe an Edmonton does or something like that. Is that more suit your team at this point, or does that matter at all?
No, we've played well against different styles. It's more about us playing well and playing the way that we need to be successful. There's no easy route for us to be able to look good and play well for the 60 minutes, and we have a good understanding of that. So when we're off a little bit, like we were last night, it can look tough at times. And we haven't had many nights where we've been off, but last night I look at it and say we didn't have it last night. We tried to regain it at times, especially in the second half. I give our players a lot of credit for trying to find ways to push back into that game, but we didn't have it to start the game. And as I said last night, I made the comment. You play from behind in this league. It's awful hard. You have to be perfect if you're playing from behind in order to give yourself a chance to dig out. So the style that Minnesota plays is a hard, heavy, consistent game throughout their lineup. We saw a little bit of that here a couple of weeks ago, and that's their personality as a team.
Dave, tactically speaking, do you want all four of your forward lines to play a style where two forwards crash hard on the forecheck, and then you have the third man high on all four of those lines, or do you have to vary it based on personnel?
No, everybody's got a little different personality as lines. I mean, when you look at we have a couple lines that are a little bit heavier than others. Some are a little bit more based on quickness and intelligence and getting in forechecking with a great stick and a little bit of physical contact. But overall, last night we chased it. We just our forecheck led to a lot of our issues 200 feet away. In terms of diving in down low. And watching outnumbered situations coming back our way. So it really starts with an intelligent read and an intensity to get in and do your job. And it depends on what structure you're forechecking against. Like you have to read what's in front of you, and then you also have to have either a second, for sure a third layer. That's above on a forecheck in order to to finish killing a play or to get back above it and make sure there's not an outnumbered coming against you.
Right. And with your structure, do you have a pretty good sense of, for all the defense pairings, where you want them positioned in the neutral zone when the puck, let's say it's in the offensive zone deep? Do you always want them between your own blue line and the center red, or would you like them moving up even?
No, it's a five-man forecheck to be successful. Now, you can't always have that. One of the things you factor in, when you watch a lot of forechecks, there's a line change happening one way or another. There's somebody that's caught deep in the defensive zone and can't get up. So there's all these different reads that have to happen along the way. And the biggest thing with that, you want to have a successful forecheck every single time you're in on it, but the reality of it is that's not going to happen. Sometimes a successful forecheck is getting the puck back in the neutral zone or at your own defensive blue line because you've had great layers, you've been able to track the puck, stay above it, and we wanted it back in the offensive zone, but sometimes a win on the forecheck is getting it back in the neutral zone so you can transition and go the other way. And last night we didn't give ourselves that opportunity. Too often it was all or none, and early in the game it was too often it was none, and we had outnumbers coming back at us 3-on-2s, and there was even a 2-on-1 later in the period, in the first period.
Right. And I'm sure game-to-game consistency will be helped by sort of having the same groups of centers game to game, right? Where you have the same four guys in that role on a consistent basis.
More consistency, yes. Obviously, like any team in the league, we've dealt with injuries, and that's part of it. So, when I look at it over a 9-game stretch here since we came back off the road, we've had a lot of good consistency. Our forecheck has been quite often a strength for us. Like I said last night, it was not. It was a source of a lot of issues for us. Sometimes you don't recognize it in the offensive zone, but 5-6 seconds later you see the result of it as the play comes back into your own zone, and it was a tough look for us last night in a lot of respects in the first half of that hockey game especially.
Do you maybe chalk that up to sort of the defense core that you guys saw from Anaheim last night, or do you think it was just maybe it just didn't work out for a separate?
Yeah, no, it's a good group that they have back there, but I believe if you go through the list of our opponents here, you'll see similar abilities, different names, similar abilities on virtually every D-core, and we're going to see it again tomorrow night. Guys that are intelligent, competitive, can move the puck and get in the play are going to be prevalent pretty much on everybody's roster. It's a matter of how you work against that, and when you don't get above, when you don't bump, when you don't take time and space away, when you give free ice, these guys are going to hurt you.
As you build a team identity and a culture here, like what kind of impact or role does Yanni Gourde play in that? His kind of personality and what do you kind of see?
Yeah, Yanni plays a huge role in it on different levels. What you see on the ice, the first, you notice his competitiveness, shift in and shift out, that absolute desire that he has and that extra effort that he has. That's a huge piece of it. The part that isn't as evidence just in watching him on the ice is the experience that he brings. The experience that he brings to our dressing room, the perspective that he brings, And he's got a good ability to communicate that. So there's a lot of different layers that he brings, and a lot of different layers of importance that he brings as a leader for us.
What's your first impression of him when you got to be around him?
Tough not to love the guy. He's awesome. You know what I mean? In every way sense, he brings a ton of energy. He's full of life. This guy is, he loves the game. I think you'd be hard pressed to, just watch him one day in practice. How hard he works at every piece of the game, and he's chirping his teammates. He just brings, he brings life, energy, and he's a guy that loves the game. So that's there's some pretty good things there. Okay, thank you.